Hello and welcome to this 22nd session, and in this session I just want you to show how to customize the 3D model that we are using here, because this is slightly complicated. Now here the thing is, when we have added the model, this model is appearing as you are seeing here, because if you come to your src folder component canvas, we had created this computer.jsx file, and in the computer.jsx file we had two components. One is the computer model and another one rendering it on the screen. So you have these two positions, and here you have two positions. One is the position of the model which we are declaring it in computer. Position of this model is controlled by the position parameter that we have given in this primitive. Once in the primitive object we add this object.scene, we are giving it a position, one position for mobile and one position for our desktop. See here, say for example, in x I have kept it 0, it is at the center, and in y instead of minus 3.25, if I set it to 0 and if I save it, see immediately you can see the machine move to the top. So we are controlling the position of this in line number 23, okay, and here I am now going to set it back to minus 3.25 and I will save it. Whereas the other position that we are concerned is the camera through which we are seeing this mobile model, and this camera is present in this computer canvas. And in the computer canvas, if you scroll here, see I have kept the camera along the x-axis to 20. So instead of setting it to 20 along the x-axis, if I make 0 and if I save it, see you can see how the camera position, see the camera moved right into the computer, and so you are seeing it so close. See, you are seeing it so closer because I changed the x position from 0 to 20. So if I make it back to 20 and if I save it and if I reload it, now you can see the model is going back. And similarly along the y, this describes the height, and in y instead of 3, if I say for example I make it 20 and if I save it and if I refresh the screen, you can immediately see that the model, the camera has moved up. Okay, so you can observe the difference. So here I will set it back to 3 and save it, and I am going to review it. When you are loading your own model, these parameters, one is the camera in the canvas, that is in this computer canvas we are calling the canvas in line number 61. You have to set the camera here, and the position of the object is actually controlled in line number 23. So knowing this, to make things simple, say for example I will now start with actually changing it. So for this, say this model I want to replace it with some other model. I want my avatar or represent myself in a 3D over here. So for this, what I am now going to do is I will come to the browser, and in the browser there are many sites which you can use to create your model, and one of the site I am using is readyplayer.me. You can come to this site. So you have the login button, you have player login, developer login. I choose player login, and here for the first time when you are using, you have one sign up button here. So I will click on the sign up button, and in the email, say for example I add my email, and then I am then going to enter a password, repeat that password, and in this way you create your own account. Now if I click on sign up, so now in your Gmail you have got a mail from readyplayer.me. You have to click on verify mail and you have to verify it. Here there is an option called back to hub. Click on this back to hub, and when you come to the hub, it is now saying that you don't have an avatar as of now. So we don't have an avatar. We have to first create an avatar. So you can create an avatar by taking a photo of yours. I can click on take a photo, but because I am using the webcam here, I cannot use it for this purpose. So I will choose a file. I will click on choose file, and I am going to add or give it a file of my passport size image. So you just give a good photograph of your face which is appearing in a prominent way and click on use this photo. Now this is going to use this photo and it is going to create your avatar. See, this avatar almost looks like me. And you can customize it with clothes, you can customize it with your hairstyle, what kind of hairstyle you want, whether you want beard or whether you want, you can do lot of customization here. I am not going into that customization as of now. My avatar is ready. I will use, see, you have variety of t-shirts here. So I will choose some other type of shirt like this. See, I am using a peculiar type of shirt like this. I will prefer this, then click next. And so now I have customized the look, and once my look is customized, after it is customized, now I will come here and click on the download button and click on download avatar as .glb file. So click here and download this file. Coming over here, I am going to rename this as Sudhindra, and I am going to now use this GLB file. Now the next thing you have to do is, if you just add it directly in your model, and first of all this is a GLB file. GLB file, it is difficult to load it in Three.js. I have to convert this into gltf. Now come over here and launch Blender. And in Blender, in a new file, I will press A, select everything, press X and delete it. Now I will come to the collection here and I am going to call this as computer. And in this collection now, I will come to file, import, and I am going to import this gltf2. If you are not seeing gltf2 in your Blender, you can go to edit, preferences, add-ons, you come over here and type gltf, and you can see here gltf2 format is available. So now what I am going to do is, I will come over here, import gltf2, and then I will come to the H drive where I have my profile. As of now, I will open my profile here, and in this profile, in public, I have desktop PC, and I will select the scene.gltf file, and if I will click it to import. So now I want this imported one. I will right click and choose select hierarchy. So I select everything, I drag it and put it inside this computer collection. So now this is the original model for which we have set our camera, position, everything. Now I am now going to create a new collection, and I am going to call this collection as my avatar. This is my avatar. And now whatever my 3D avatar I have just now created, I am now going to import it over here. So I will come back to gltf glb, and in the downloads folder you have sudhindra.glb. I will select this and import gltf, and you are now seeing my model, and you can see that my model is very small. So what I am now going to do is, I will press S and I am going to scale it up. I will scale this up, and if required I will move it. I want only till my waist level I require the model to appear. However, the model is facing on the other side. See, the computer is facing to the right, model is facing this side. So I will come to top view by pressing 7, then press R, and I am going to rotate it 90 degrees like this. And now if I press 3 on the numpad and come to the side view, and I am going to move this and place it at the center. Okay, I will just place it at the center like this. This will be the position where, if required, I will even zoom it a little more so that I see only the area above the chest. This area I am seeing it in 3D. I will set this size, and after setting this size, don't forget to press Ctrl A and apply all transforms, so that you have applied the transform, and here location should be 0 0, rotation 1, everything should be set to 0. Okay. So then after this, next what I am now going to do is I will save this file, save it with your name. This is your model, okay, texture, and then now come over here and right click on this computer collection and delete hierarchy, delete of the entire computer, and then you take this model and you can just test it. You can change the viewport shading so that you can see how it appears with all the textures it is applied. Now I will go to file and I am going to export this as a gltf2 file, and this gltf2 file, when you come over here on the right hand side in the format, instead of gltf binary glb, I am going to use gltf separate, where you have gltf bin and texture files as separate. I will select this option, and then in textures, for the textures to load, I will create a folder called textures, and after this I will come into my profile where I am working, and in this profile, in the public folder, we had this desktop.pc. Instead of desktop.pc, I am now going to create a new folder, and I am now going to call this folder as my avatar. And in this my avatar folder, I am going to give this my name like sudhindra.gltf, or give your own name, and see that this textures is on and gltf separate, this format is on, and if you click on export, now this, so when I come to my folder here and open this public folder, and in this the my avatar folder, you can now see 3 files are created here. One is the gltf file, the binary file, and all the textures are packed inside this. So now with this texture ready, making this ready, now I will close Blender, and I am now going to, if required, save it. Now I am going to come back into my Visual Studio Code, and in this Visual Studio Code, now what you have to do is, if you come on the top in const computer in use gltf, that is in line number 7, I had given a path to load the model. We had taken it from desktop PC scene.gltf. Now instead of taking it from here, I am now going to select this path, and now I will add dot / and this time this is coming from, see, if you come to public folder, see, I have created a folder my avatar where M and A are capital. Be careful even with, okay, capital and small letter also. And in this I have created one sudhindra.gltf. So see the spelling correctly in your browser. The best way is come to your browser, and in the path after this public, you copy this and come over here and paste this, and then / and type the name of your file without any spelling mistake, gltf. And now once I save this, and now if I save this file, and now if I come back here, see, immediately now instead of your, that is table, you are seeing your image, but the image is not bright. You can adjust the spotlight and adjust the lighting correctly, but instead of that, what I will do is I will come over here, and you have one hemisphere intensity in 10th line which is set to 0.15. I will change it to 2. This is the ambient light, and I will save it. So immediately you can see now your face is lit correctly, but still I am seeing this object is coming down too much. I want to move this object to the top. So to move it to the top, I will come over here, and in the position is mobile. You have this y axis, I had set it to -3.25. Instead of -3.25, I will make it 0, save it. See, immediately you can see my model is appearing on the screen, and if you feel that, see, this is appearing on the screen, and if you feel that this image and also you can adjust the camera position in computer canvas. You have to come to line number 61, and here in Y I had set it to 3, and instead of 3 if I set it to say something like 20, and if I save it and if I reload it, so now the thing is, see, it has moved back, the model has become smaller, you are seeing it full. Or instead of 20 along the Y, if I set it to 0 and if I save it and if I reload it, see, you can see now this has come closer. And if I want to move it down along the x axis, if I set it to 0 and if I save it and if I so like this, manually you try to set this. See, when I set it to 0, it became very close. So what I will do is, I will set this value to around 10 now, save it and refresh it. So this is okay, but only thing is I have to move the object little to the down. So I will come to the top, and in position, instead of 0, I will set the position to around -3. I will save it, and or -3 is too much, -2 I will save it. Okay, -2 appears to be fine for me. And in mobile also I want it to be set to the same position, -2, so that so in mobile also it appears correctly, so that when I reduce the screen size to the mobile size, you are seeing, see, the model in mobile is going away from the screen. So to avoid it, what I will do is, in mobile I will set the Z value to, it is -2.2 here, I will set the Z value in mobile to around 0 and save it. See, now it is appearing correctly. So now in mobile you are seeing it right. If you want, I can move it to the top a little. So for that, what I will do is, in mobile, instead of -2, I will make it -6, and oh, it went down too much. I will make this 2, +2 and save it. It went away too much. I will save it to 0 and save it. I will still bring it a little down, -1 and save it. So manually you adjust it. So in here you are seeing the model, and this model is now customized. So if I increase the size, this will be the position. So now instead of having some other model, you have your own avatar, and this avatar you can spin and see it from all the angle. See, you can spin and view it. Okay, so we have added, see, we can even animate it. Adding animation in Three.js, I have to explain it in detail. So I am not going to touch that because that will be a little complicated. So what I want you to do is replace this either with your own face model, or you can go to a website called as sketchfab.com. You go to this website, log in, and here in search, go and you want a studio. You want to add the picture of a studio. You can click on downloadable and also add here low poly, because we doesn't want a studio which is very big. So I can add studio, and you can move around it, and you can take any of the model here. Say for example, you have a creator studio model here. So you can select this model now. Instead of the computer table, you take this model, and you can, as usual, come here, download the 3D model, download gltf or fbx. I will click here, download. This model is now going to get downloaded, and once it is downloaded, now again I am going to unzip this. I will unzip this model, and after that, so coming back to Blender now, I will again create a new file, select, press A to select everything, press X and delete, and this collection to rename this. In ID data rename, I will rename it as computer, and first I will take my computer image as a reference. So here now I will come to file, import gltf, and in my folder I am now going to first use my computer file, that is the desktop PC scene.gltf. I will export it. I will right click here, choose select hierarchy, and I will drag it and put it inside this computer collection. See, this is the original model we are using. I am going to see this, and then I will close this collection, and I am going to create a new collection, and I am going to name it as studio. And in this studio, now I am going to come into file, import, and I will come to gltf2, and now I will come to the download folder where I just downloaded the file. In the compressed, you have this creator studio. Select this scene.gltf and download it, and once this is selected, I will right click, choose select hierarchy and drag it and put it inside this studio. And only thing is, this is now very big compared to my size. So if I take it, it will be very huge. So I will just zoom it out. Say I will reduce the size of this and make it the size of my, and after making the size adjustment, then without fail you have to press Ctrl A and apply all the transforms. If you doesn't apply the transform, you won't get this resized image. Then you have to go to computer and then delete this entire thing. Okay, and again in this case I am now going to go to file and I am going to save this. I will save this as studio and I am going to save this, and after this the next thing is, here I am going to now come to file, export gltf2, and this time I will again come over here and choose gltf separate, and then in textures I am going to type text. Then I will come to the folder where I have my profile, and in this, in the public folder, I am now going to create a new folder and I am going to call this as studio, and inside this studio folder now give the name of textures as textures and click on export. So this is now exported. If you come to your public folder, now you see here the folder studio and it has the studio.gltf. So now what you have to do is to call this model. Now I have to just come to this line number 7, and here I have to change the path. Instead of period / and coming into the studio folder, and inside the studio folder I am going to call studio.gltf, and I am going to save this. And once I save this, you can immediately see that this model, you can see it over here. So now you are seeing this studio here. So now what I can do is, if you feel that this position is not right, it is very much zoomed, I have to make it small. So here if you come in the primitive, see we have set the scale to 0.75. I will make it 0.5 and save it. See, it became small, and on mobile I will make it still small. I make it 0.3 and I am going to save it, and the object is very much to the bottom. So what I will do is, I will set this z value to 0, y value to 0. It is coming up, it came up too much, I make it -1. Okay, this is fine. And in mobile I will just check it in the mobile. If I move it in the mobile, this is fine. If required, I can move it a little to the top. I will make it 0 on mobile. See, this is fine. So I can make the adjustment like this, and now in your model, when you are using it, you are able to see this 3D room or your studio. Okay, and in the studio, now if you want the user to zoom in, say if they want to have the zoom control, what you can do is, you come back to the code here, and in the code we had come to this orbit control. This orbit control we had added it in this line number 65. We had made enable zoom false. You set this enable zoom to true, or you just delete it off and save it. And now if I come over here and if I reload this page, now if I rotate the mouse, I can rotate and zoom to the model. See, you can zoom to the model. So like this you can control it. Say for example, not only zooming this, I want to, you can now rotate only in one axis. Say you want to rotate it both from top and bottom also, I want to have full rotation control. Means come back here, and if we had added one maximum polar angle and minimum polar angle. Select both of this, and I will delete this entire section, and if I save this now and if I reload the model, now you can see, you can even turn and see it from the top. This was not possible before, but since I have removed that polar angle, now you can even rotate and see the model from any angle. And if you want to move out, I have to click here and I am going to browse to other section. Okay. So with this, we have completed this customization, and one last thing I have to show it to you is how to upload it on your GitHub and share it, because for hosting you have to pay money. GitHub is totally free of cost. You can host this entire site freely and share it with everyone. So this is the last section which we will be covering it in our next session.